It's Friday, December 2nd, 2022. If you're watching us live. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. This is the Soapbox. And this is the little show that we put together on Denix Media to just kind of do a post show on our live podcast, Den Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast, which airs every Friday or most Fridays on YouTube at 8 p.m. Pacific. And it's basically just a place where I get together with a bunch of my nerdy friends to talk about the latest Marvel content or DC or Image or whatever. Just usually if it's comic related media, we like to talk about that for a good hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. And then when we're done doing that, we come on here and do it more. Now we just kind of do it in a more casual setting and just chat about whatever else nerdy stuff that doesn't necessarily fall into that specific, niche. So I know I was telling them lately I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap, and I've been playing Midnight Suns and Gotham Knights, all superhero related video games. And I was up pretty late last night playing 3 of those off and on, switching gears. And I'm quite surprised that I had the energy to do the show and then do this show as well. But here I am chatting about whatever. And so, yeah, we just got done talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which I loved. And now Clarke is here to join me, and we can finally nerd out and talk about Snap. I don't even remember what the card is. So just so you know, guys, I think I run my favorite deck that I have is a discard deck. I was so close to buying Moon Knight today.
I have Thanos in mind. I think I'm gonna get him.
Oh, in your store.
Yeah, my store.
Yeah, he's a rough one, but he seems cool.
Now you've got 6,000. You had 6,000 coins.
I had 6,000. I have 4,000 now.
So I had the 3,000. That's why I'm still torn about absorbing man, because he's all 3,000 of it. I'm like, oh
yeah. I'm not trying to buy anybody that's from tier 4 or series 4 or 5. I just don't. I think I'd rather just get those naturally. But like I feel like series 3, I'm still playing a like a fierce game of catch up, just to be able to do that meta. You know what I mean? Like I'm not as worried about the other 2 series because they're randomly dropping them in, into your collector's cache, and then on top of that, they're like it's gonna be hard to put together a full deck that relies on those. Like I always tell Chi, because like my friend Chi and I we have a deck building conversations and stuff. We've always done this like since Versus and Overpower and he didn't do it with me with Pokemon, but like so many games we just have conversations that just talk about building decks. And kind of my fundamental rule about building any deck ever is if it relies on one card to make the whole thing work, you're doing it wrong. Like you need to have some redundancies, like because you're not always going to get that card, right? Like, and so like I just don't believe that a series 4 card is going to completely fundamentally change the entire deck, until we're all very easily getting series 4 cards, and like that's the norm, so I'm not spending 3,000 on one card. I'm just not going to do it unless the card just says you win.
Now, interestingly, since I just unpinned it, and I was kind of curious if the time would have expired, but when I unpinned it, it went right back to the same amount of time as when I initially pinned it. So like you don't lose. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can pin it, and it just means that you're not going to get a different one until you unpin it, right?
Yeah. But you still like the time doesn't continue on even though it's pinned. It really literally stops the countdown of you getting a new card.
Oh, okay.
Is what I mean.
So when you unpin it, it starts the countdown back.
Yes.
So continues from where it was.
Yeah. So it was at 5 hours and 6 minutes when I pinned it. And then when I unpinned it, it was still at 5 hours and 6 minutes.
Well, mine are at 5 hours and 6 minutes right now too. I think that means that's the norm. That's the amount of time until the next refresh. I think that's what you're seeing right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
it just happened to be coincidence. I totally remember it was at 5 hours when I pinned it.
Yeah, but yeah, now it's at 5.5 right now on mine. I have Lockjaw in my token shop right now, and I'm kind of hesitant to get him because I think
he can bring a buddy, right?
He brings a random card from your deck.
Yeah,
and I think he's potentially good if you build the entire deck like with lots of high drops.
Yeah,
like lots of high drops. But if you have a lot of lows that you also need to make the deck work to hit your curve, it makes it rough for Lockjaw because then he ends up putting cards in your location that you don't want. You know what I mean?
I have a Jubilee deck where sometimes I don't start playing until turn 4.
Ooh, that's risky.
That's risky. Know. That's very risky. If you have Sarah though, it could be okay. Mm-hmm. Ricky, are we looking at your game?
Yeah, we're playing right now.
And your name is first.
I thought it was the name of a deck, so I just typed in first like as a placeholder.
Oh my god.
So now I am just stuck with the name first.
That's so good.
If you see that name,
kick your butt.
You know it's me, yeah.
That's so funny.
I don't think this is my. I feel like I don't remember having a claw on this deck.
Are you playing on Steam?
Yeah,
this is Steam right now. You can. How many decks do you have?
I have like 8.
Because I have so many, I can't scroll on them in Steam.
I don't have a ton. I do delete some decks that I don't use, but
yeah,
this is kind of. I don't remember having these cards in here though.
I'm just curious. While Ricky plays that, I can switch gears and ask you guys, how far are you in Gotham Knights? Yeah.
We got out of the court with the bones, and we're just past that.
Okay.
Yeah, we just kind of really got the first bulk of the court story.
Yeah. I don't know when you get the heroic assault email.
Yeah, we checked. We don't have that.
It says, yeah, like when you're when I check it, like hover on the main menu, it says that I have to progress further in the story. So I don't know what I'm assuming in the main mission, but it doesn't necessarily say.
The main menu is not the same thing because like the main menu said that for me until I saw that it's on my map in the top left corner in game. So it's always there every night until you go and play it. So I don't know if that requires the email or if it just coincidentally,
So what you're saying is after this, when we go play, we should just go up to the upper left, look for it. And if it's there, go to it.
Go to it and do it.
And see what happens.
And then once you're done with it, it unlocks in the main menu for you. Yeah. And like, honestly, for me, like, cause it's a really long tower, right? And I was just trying for your guys' sake to figure out how it works. I literally quit in the middle of it and it's gone on my map, but I can forever do it,
Right.
Yeah. Ricky's getting his butt kicked here.
Yeah. Well, I might get a tie.
I'm enjoying it so far. I know the reviews when they came out for it were like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10s is mostly what I saw. Like, I don't take a lot of stock. I usually read more for like, I'll know reading off of reviews if I'll like it or not.
Point difference.
And You know, taking it as a you know, as a just I kind of didn't have a lot of expectations going in, and I'm quite enjoying it. It's fun. It's more Batman. It's uh, like I had discussed with I think both of you guys. Like it, I started playing it really after Kevin Conroy passed, so the story's hitting harder.
Yeah.
I'm really digging it. I'm having a lot of fun with that game.
Mhm.
I think
Is it the best Batman game?
Well, no,
No.
no, it's not the best Batman game, but I think it's the best game you can do that doesn't have Batman in it with
Arkham Knight is the best Batman game.
I think it's the best Avengers game. I think it's
Yeah.
way better than Avengers.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, oh
That's
my
what
god,
it
I've
is.
been playing the story for weeks now. Weeks. You know what I mean? Like 5 hours was the completion time of the story in Avengers.
Yeah.
Like that was it. And I was like, wait, that's it? That's all it is? But in this game, like the game loop is so satisfying for me because yeah, there is a story mission. I can just go do that and skip all the other crimes that are going on in the city. But that's not what Batman would do, right? Like Batman would go and make sure that he went to bed for 20 minutes knowing that all the crime for that night was expunged, you know? So that's how I've been doing every night. So like for me, I have to set aside 1 to 2 hours to play one night of that game every time I play it because
You have to save the city.
Yeah.
I've got to save the
You
city
gotta.
every time I do it. I do every stupid quest that's there. And then like I try to do as many little tiny crimes, like, you know, people are breaking into cars and stuff.
Jaywalking,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not that bad, but
food
like
permits.
I try to do all the crimes I can until I just finally am like, okay, I'm really tired. Like obviously crime is endless in the city. It's never going to go away, you know? But what I thought was really funny about like, Frank and I were talking about the game last night because so I gave Clarke a warning or a tip, and I'll give it to you too because it's, you know, obviously you guys know the Court of Owls is there in the story now. Uh, there's a knighthood or sorry a momentum challenge for each character to beat X number of feral talons from the Court of Owls, and also to clear owls' nests, which are like their little hideouts that they have. They have tiny little missions, right? Every one of those characters has the same requirement, but the problem is like the majority of the owls really only appear in the story missions. So do yourself a favor and cycle between all 4 characters as you're finishing the story now, because you are in the back half of the story where you're doing the owl stuff. But what was really funny is last night I was playing in a story mission with Frank, and I was trying to explain to him, "Hey, I'm playing with Jason right now because I need like 12 or I need like sorry, I think I need like 5 more talons to kill or defeat, right?" And he was playing with this juiced Batgirl that would one shot anything. And so sometimes a Talon would show up and he would just punch it. I'd be like, no, 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 don't do that. And they'd just die, right? And it was so funny because like once he understood what not to kill, you know, he'd already killed like 2 of them, right? And I ended up finishing the night at 14 of 15 talons.
Oh.
And I was like, no.
No.
If Frank wouldn't have just gone around punching things. But yeah, so I'm just letting you know, just one, if you play together, be mindful of that you guys like check your numbers as you're doing it. But 2, just make sure you're rotating them out because the skills you unlock for doing that are super cool. They're really cool. And then the other thing, your skill points, because you cap at 30 in the main game, and then you get a new level cap at 40 after you do New Game Plus. Neither time do you ever get to buy all of the abilities on the tree. So plan it out. Plan out what you actually want because you don't get it all.
See, I always hate
Yeah.
that because how do you know to plan when you can't
You can
see
read
an
them.
example?
So you
Yeah,
can
you can
you can read them.
Yeah, you
and
can
see
look
what
down
the
and read
skills
them.
are. You just kind of got to
Mhm.
you basically got to
Yeah.
kind of figure out what build you're going to make and
Yeah.
and work towards it instead
Yeah.
of just going, ooh, that sounds fun. Ooh, oh, I want one over here too. And
I
oh,
was
want one over
definitely
here.
doing a lot of that, and then
I started.
yeah,
Yeah.
I realized, oh crap, I'm level 30 now, and I don't seem to be leveling up anymore. But some characters I hadn't spent all their points, so I actually had to start being more cautious of what I spent them on. I will say that like Frank convinced me to not sleep on um, Robin's slingshot abilities because he unlocks a 40% elemental resistance on that tree, and that's huge. And your elements, like when you start slotting mods, like I told Clark this last night, focus on finding the gear or building the gear that has the most mod slots because those are how
Yes.
you wreck things. Like either if you're focusing on crit damage or elemental, that's all the damage. Like it's so much damage. It's insane. Like Frank was literally punching things once and they were falling to the ground. It was really cool. But you guys aren't that far behind me. You're probably like maybe
I'm level
4 or 5.
13.
I think I'm 12.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, I got a lot of XP when I played with you, Clark, because when I
and
got to replay missions.
The Owls mission that we just did was level 10.
Yeah. But like I'm out leveled for all of my owl missions. No owl mission is level 30.
Okay.
Like they're way like I can like two or three shot them. Like they're you don't have to be max level to beat the game by a lot. So it's not that it's just that I've done too much saving the city is really what it is. Like and so now that I'm not getting XP, I'm probably just gonna haul ass through the game tomorrow or tonight just to finish it, just so I can get to the new game plus and then go play with you guys.
And then come play.
Yeah, because then I can just play with you guys and not worry about my story because whatever, that's fine.
No, I like how they dole out the kind of how the mission structures are set up where, like you said, obviously you could just spend a night if you don't even want to progress the story, just running around doing crimes and kind of protecting the city and having fun doing that. But the way that it's like, oh, here's your first intro to like Freeze, and here, here's a little, taste of Clayface, and we're going to build up to these like, full, these kind of couple story or couple mission arcs around each of the classic rogues gallery and allow you to kind of experience those from the B squad of the Batman
B squad.
No, I mean it like lovingly, but it's you're not the Bat now. You're these the other folks kind of facing off against all the classic villains that they've faced off at times before, and so you get to enjoy some of their interactions with them. And
it feels
it's cool.
So satisfying when you're one of the B squad and you have to beat one of his villains.
Yeah, exactly. I like the
Yeah.
structure of those being the kind of the challenges or the different missions where it's like, here's 3 or 4 missions where you kind of chase after so and so, and then you go face them. It's rewarding. It feels.
I will say this: like originally, I was trying to do those side case file missions by myself. I got to a point where I wasn't doing that mod stuff that I was telling you about. I wasn't paying attention to it, and I had a Mr. Freeze fight that literally was a 20-minute boss fight.
Oh, nice.
It was so long because the amount of damage I was doing was just so small that like I highly recommend if you're not modding like crazy, when you do those missions, bring a friend because they get so much faster. Because like Frank and I went and finished off Clayface, that guy went down so fast, fast.
Now the way that we've that I've been doing it is like if because Clarke and I kind of started moving through the story a little bit together, is like if I'm if he's not on, or like the other night he was playing Destiny and I was like, oh cool, and I just ran around and did some crimes and looked for collectibles and just kind of went out in the city and did that stuff and got some loot and whatever. And then when the couple times we've gotten together and Clarke's been around, like we kind of we progress the story through a mission or two, while doing some of the other stuff along through the city as well. And it's kind of like it allows you to enjoy both aspects of the game. Like I can hold off on the story because I know I can just go be bad adjacent and beat up some bad guys. But then it's like, ooh, Clarke's on and he's gonna play. Let's go try and knock out the next mission we have that we both kind of have set aside to do. So it's cool from that perspective.
It was so funny because like where I am in the story, because sometimes those case files you have to launch them directly from the belfry and instead of going out to the town. Well, you get to a point in the game where there's a story mission that actually has to be launched instead of going out into the city. It's an instant story mission. And what's so funny is I kind of forgot that I had to launch it from there. And so I texted Frank and I was like, hey, I'm going to go do some Gotham missions, story missions. You want to join me? And then I went out to the city and I went around like doing all the things. And then I was like, hey, wait, where's the story mission? And then I was like, oh, crap. I forgot I was supposed to launch it from the thing. I was in the city for like an hour and a half, just kicking butt.
Yeah.
And then I finally got back to my base, and I looked at the clock, and it was 12:30 at night last night. And I was like, do I want to do the story mission that I meant to do? And I was on the fence about deciding whether or not to go to bed or do it. And then all of a sudden, Frank just jumps into my game. And I was like, are you kidding me? You just jumped into my game at 12:30 at night? And he's like, sorry, I just woke up. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you? And he's like, he woke up and he just wanted to play. And so we did it. We just did the story mission.
Nice.
And like, we finished it at like close to, I think 145 or something like that. And then I was like, I got to stop playing this game, Frank. And then I just left. And then before I was about to go to bed, I was like, but I really wanted to play Midnight Suns just to see what it's like. And so I booted that game up. And I did not have the patience for that game's tutorial, man. That game's tutorial is rough. And like the amount of play time that you get to do in that game versus the amount of non-play time is so long. I spent an hour today like waiting for another moment to go and play like the card game.
Two reviews that I read mentioned that basically like they weren't sold on it in like the first few hours because of that exact reason. They felt like they were just sort of doing tutorial and doing this and doing that, but there wasn't a lot of action. But then they said it kind of hit, each article both separately kind of alluded to the fact that it kind of hits a point where it's like, all right, we taught you everything. Go have fun. And it really like, and they were like, okay, then that was when I started feeling the game.
That's why I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because it's Firaxis, but like, dude, knowing like coming from a gaming background and like knowing like, all the producer friends I know, like the onboarding experience has to be fast. Yeah. It has to be fast because your churn rate is high if people aren't engaged in the first, 30 minutes or something like that. And so I've put hours into that game and I still have only played 4 like 5-minute card games.
I like a majority, not all of, but a majority of the Final Fantasy games. Mm-hmm. But when 13, when 13 hit with the one with lightning as the main character.
Yeah.
Like I started playing it and I just like, I kept bouncing off it. And I was having a conversation with somebody about it. and they were like, "Oh man, the thing is, you just need to get to like hour 20 or 25, and then it really catches you." And I was like, "Yo, if I got to play for 20 hours before the game hooks me, I'm not going to continue playing the game."
I totally remember.
But they were like, "Really,
game.
stick with it," and I never
like,
did.
no, thank you.
And then they, then they did like 2 spinoffs, and I was just like not interested, because I was like, you know what? I don't want to get a 20-hour tutorial. Please don't. Like, if you can't get me there in 5 hours, especially if it's something, I'll allow a game like this.
And I remember that
tactical game. Like I'll allow for Midnight Suns, like something that's tactical and requires strategy and teaching you very like specific types of things. Like I'll allow it to kind of give me all of that in a couple hours, but then let me loose. But like for something like a Final Fantasy where it's story, like I didn't know what was going on. I didn't care. It just was all so boring, and I just felt like I just didn't want to continue. But having the Marvel wrapper, on it will give me a little more patience.
But here's the problem with that. Like, I would normally have that patience for Marvel and for Axis, and I am still going to keep doing it because I spent money and I bought the game.
Well,
it's not like I got it cheap or anything. But the problem I'm having is the wrapper's kind of ugly. Like the graphics,
not a pretty game.
It's not pretty. Like the character designs are pretty ugly. Like my wife was watching me play this today, and she's like, "Ugh." She's like, "That's Tony Stark. He looks weird." And I'm like, "Yeah, he looks kind of busted." Like they just like all the characters are really like the textures on them are really PS4 or PS3.
Right.
I don't know. They just look really weird. Like it's clearly a design choice they made. But like the other thing is like, I think one of my favorite game design like conversations I've ever seen or like interviews was like somebody from Rocksteady talking about the Arkham Asylum game, I think, or maybe the sequel, Arkham City. And they were talking about how it's really important to them that the cutscenes, the purpose of cutscenes be to move the story forward, but not to rob the player of cool things to do. Right. So like if it's a cool action that you can make it into an experience that the player can do, you should make that not a cutscene and find a way to make it, part of the game. Like the cutscenes should be the things that, like happen right after the cool action, or to fill in the blanks to get it to the next part of the game, the game, progress the story. And so what I think is super weird about this game, the Midnight Suns, is there's so much pointless interaction that I have. Like there's this cool scene where like they show you that Magic can make a portal to Limbo, right? And you're going to use that to get somewhere else around the world, right? And so you're like, okay, cool. She made the portal. And then it hands the control back over to you and you walk into the portal. That's it. You literally press forward.
Yeah.
You walk into the portal.
Interaction.
And then the next scene is another cut scene showing them in the portal, talking, walking around on this portal bridge, like looking at everything and saying like, wow. And they're expositioning the hell out of the Marvel universe and explaining what Limbo is and all these things. And you're like, okay, cool. Then they hand you back the control and you walk 5 feet on the bridge to the exit of the portal.
Yeah.
And then it goes to another cutscene explaining what's happening in New York, and now you got to go fight. And then eventually it goes into the card game, and you're like, why the hell did you make me walk forward 5 feet?
Well, you need your exercise.
And that's all I could do. That's literally the only thing I could do in that moment of the game is press forward on the stick.
Yeah.
And I
get frustrated in those moments in games where it's just like, why did you give me control there just to make me do something stupid and then take it away from me again?
Just remember your homies.
Yeah, like let me. Quick time events. Sometimes are pandered. Sometimes it can be really cool. Yeah. But like, it's if you're saying maybe thinking quick time events like the Telltale games, when they would, or like the Batman Telltale game, like when it would give you a few button presses, something to do to keep moving that scene along, almost like Dragon's Quest or whatever back in the day. At least you're allowing me to do something. But if you just literally have me push the stick to like get another cutscene, don't give me the quick scene. Let it happen, and then give me in a fight, get me in a card battle, get me in a, something. There's a moment in one of the, I think it's Uncharted 4, I want to say, where like Drake is being chased by a truck, and you kind of run into an alley, and the camera pulls in a little closer, and you'd almost think that it's cutscene, but you're controlling him as he runs down the alley, and you can kind of move him back and forth, and then you kind of jump at the end, and it cuts to him jumping out of the alley as the truck crashes, and it's like I got to feel the cinematic but control the activity there.
Yes.
I felt like part of that, and when the truck crashed and it took control away from me, it felt powerful, it felt fun, it felt exciting. And then right away they were like, oh wow, that was crazy, oh my god. And then it was like that I was back into controlling Drake again. It's like that's how you want your flow to be. You don't want to ever feel like I pressed a button just because you needed to make me feel like I'm doing something.
Yeah, and I think I don't mean to knock the game for this because I knew what it was going into it, but I think the amount of cutscene that I'm given in this game, like the amount of story buildup, the amount of leading to, you're gonna confront Hydra and demons and all these things, and when they finally is like, oh no, you gotta fight them, and then it switches to like, here's your hand, here's your cards, and you're like,
here's your cards.
Feels weird, like it's very jarring how like it suddenly just slows the action down to a grinding halt, like, and then it's jarring.
Wolverine says, "Let's do this." And thanks.
It's like the
it's that. It's exactly that.
I think it works better, like potentially in XCOM, because it didn't have that need to deliver deep story or deliver multiple cutscenes.
It didn't have the Marvel. It didn't have the burden of Marvel on it.
It didn't have to carry that. It was just like, hey, some aliens landed here. Go F them up, and then you go and you F them up, and then it comes back and it's like, oh hey, you got a new technology. We can make this for you. And it was like these super quick little vignettes of somebody giving you some information, sharing something with you. You got something. You earned something. Now, oh hey, there's a mission again, and you just went right back into that. You didn't have to do the extra fluff that when you get into the game, it suddenly slows that.
This one reminds me of Ultimate Alliance, where the hub is just this annoying, giant, like endless supply of exposition and trivia that you don't care about, that you could spend like an hour going and saying, okay, Blade, what's your real name? Where are you from? And how long have you been with the Midnight Suns? And you're like, I don't want to ask him these things, but I feel like you want me to ask them these things, game. So that's why I'm doing it. But I'm like, why is the only reason you made me have a controlled character to go around and experience just text dialogue and talking? Like, what is the point of me just like going around and searching the environment to press X and collect things at the home base, if like when I go out to actually play the real game, it becomes a card game? Like, like I think that the home base part is the jarring part of it, because like remember the Metal Gear Acid game, like the card game? There's no home base to that. It's just always you're always playing the card game, and I would prefer that so much, because like the reality is like Marvel Snap is a fast-paced, awesome, action-y card game. Like I feel the action when I'm playing it because it's so fast, it's instantaneous reactions to your action, like. But this game, I have to wait an hour before I get to go back out on a mission, and I'm like, killing me.
Had we not been privy to a Marvel Snap, do you think your thoughts would have been different?
No,
Good question.
no. It's just it makes me more upset that I don't have that I have to choose between one or the other. That's all. That's what it really is.
I bought the game earlier today. It is on my PS5. I have not played it, so
Yeah.
No, I
I'll
like
wait.
what with Snap. Like you're getting in there, you're 3 minutes, you're deep, and then you're done, and then you can launch right back in. You just can go. I when I play Snap, I often play it like as I'm getting kind of ready for bed, and I'm kind of getting comfortable, getting chilling, and I'm like, all right, it's what time? All right, 2 more rounds, and then that turns into 4 because it one went fast, and next thing you know, I'm like looping through these through those battles, and it's very instantaneous, fast paced gratification.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Midnight Suns is like the opposite of that.
I think the hardest part for Midnight Suns is the fact that I have not still been able to build my own decks. Like after all this time, I still am like just using the cards that they make me use.
Tell you to use.
And that's why I have no investment in what I'm doing, because I'm like, when I get a bad hand, I'm like, way to go, asshole deck builder. Like this hand sucks. Like this is like, okay, I'm just gonna hit the square button to redraw to get new cards because your cards are garbage.
It's a lack of agency.
Yeah, you have no agency in what you're doing.
You're just like,
for like the
okay.
first couple hours, and that's too many hours to be playing a game and not playing, not having fun. So
well, I hope you're like 30 minutes away from the point when they let you loose and
God,
give you the reins.
Hit that refund button.
I played it again right before this show just because I was like, give it another chance. I keep trying to give it more chances to try and win me over, and it's not quite there yet, but whatever. At least I got cool costumes for my characters, I guess.
Is Doctor Strange good?
Doctor Strange is not that cool in that.
Oh man,
he's a little nerdy and like he's dorky, like, and not funny. He's I don't know. He's not charming. He's not charming at all.
That's a bummer.
Anyways, I just wanted to give you that rant, and I know Clark's itching to go play real games because I can hear him turning PlayStations on.
I wanted to check and see if that mission was there. I did not see it in Gotham.
What mission? Oh, the hero assault. Yeah. It's not up in the top left yet. Okay.
No.
I'm thinking 3 years down the line. Do you think we get a Star Wars Snap, or do you think we get a Snap, all-encompassing Snap with everything in it?
No. I think they're gonna I think part of the success of Snap is the Marvel wrapping, like the way that like when you move a character, like there's they're all themed and they're built around those characters and things.
I don't know.
Like, what would you do with Star Wars that like
the same dumb shit?
Yeah.
You need the variety of the superpowers to have.
I mean, you don't really like. What's that game? What's that game that we played for like ever for like a year or something like that? Like the mobile game,
Strike Force. Yeah, there's the Star Wars.
There's an exact copy of that for Star Wars.
Yeah,
is there?
Yeah, Galaxy Heroes.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like, I mean, when I say exact, it's like the team size is slightly different.
Getting back to instead of ISOs, right?
Right. No, I mean, I could see like, Star Wars has iconic characters, iconic ships, iconic images and locations, and specifically sound effects that could be used, every time you bring out your TIE fighter, like,
I think there
plays type of thing. I think it could be done.
It could be a Snap-like game for Star Wars, but like, will it sell as well? Nah, I don't think it would, because I don't think Galaxy of Heroes does as well as. I still get served ads all the time to come and play Strike Force, and I'm like, you crazy? Like, they got back to the game.
Wakanda Forever in there now. They got,
of course,
Namora.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. Like my relationship with Snap has changed drastically in the last few weeks. Like I play it way less than I was, like, those first few weeks. Like I couldn't stop playing that game. Like I just couldn't. But now it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna do my dailies really quick, and then I'll check the store.
I get about try to get 10 games in a day throughout the course of the day.
Like I just it's so hard to climb the ranks at a certain point that you just have to accept. You're like,
I stopped. I have a deck that I really like, and that's my deck, and I play it well, as you guys did not see.
yeah, so you say.
But I have my deck that I love, and I have my deck that the deck of the week that I'm trying, and for me, that's what does it. I don't get more or less into it from there.
Clarke, what's your favorite card in that game?
I really liked the Sarah deck. I really liked Sarah, what that did. That was a lot of fun. Right now I'm playing a Jubilee deck with Storm, so that I hit Storm on 3, then Jubilee on 4, or Jessica Jones. I'm trying that out.
She's good in a Storm deck.
I think one of my favorite things to do with Storm is give that location away, but force them to. I use Storm as bait. Like the only other thing I'll do sometimes is if I can like get somebody who grows, like Jessica or Dracula or whatever.
That's what I really liked about the Sarah deck is Bishop then. So
Yes.
suddenly then by using the Sarah deck, I loved playing Bishop then on 5 or on 6, and then just or having Bishop there, and then just suddenly Bishop just shoots up.
I had a Devil Dinosaur deck that I liked. It paired with like Moon Girl and a couple other characters. They kept adding to your deck. That it was just like I didn't even have any like of the like 6-point characters or like cards in my deck. I just would wait till the end and then throw that down, and it would just skyrocket one location. And as long as I was already winning another, it was just like it just was. I would just watch the numbers go up and be like, yeah, that was satisfying. That felt good.
Yeah.
But I still there's still a lot of cards that
I am going to be
have.
fully honest. I really do enjoy my FU deck where I just put all the annoying cards, the Iceman, the Scorpion, like whatever takes away from them, and then like putting that on a cloning vat where I put 4 Scorpions and reduced all of them.
Put 4 Hobgoblins at them.
I will just fully admit that.
But I think we all like those because I think those decks feed a need, which is we are missing cards that would make other non-dickish decks possible or viable, right? And so we know that the game is very generous to give us all the trash, mean cards up front, and so it's kind of easy to make one of those decks. Like we all have one.
I've got one because of one Iceman. And that's my fault with my but I've had it where if that Iceman had not hit that card, I would have won.
Oh, when Iceman hits Sarah.
Yeah.
It is the worst when Iceman hits Sarah.
Infinite is my guy. Because when
Infinite's your guy.
It's fun.
When I pop him off, and he's coming when I don't take that turn.
See, but you're so lame if you have to play him by not taking a turn. I get Infinite out without ever doing that.
Sometimes I get lucky and pull him with the Jubilee, but
no, I get intentional and discard him with Lady Sif and then pull him with a Ghost Rider or a Hela.
I just got Hela, so I haven't really played with Hela much. But I now have Ghost Rider and Hela, but I haven't built a deck.
Oh, if you have both, you're set. You are good to go. You should, and you have Sarah. You can make my deck. You have Morbius, right?
Yes.
You have every piece you need of that deck. Like that's it.
What somebody needs to do is go back in our chat and like pin all the like decks that continue to be good.
I'll just post it right now because it's hilarious. It's because you've got all the expensive cards or all the hard to get cards. And then you
just got Hela yesterday.
Yeah. And then you just like you have Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has Apocalypse, right? I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
Like,
I
you
think he's
can't-
year one.
yeah, you can't not have Apocalypse. Yeah, if you have Hela and Ghost Rider, because that's the point. They're the redundancy, right? You got to have like it's so painful when like Blade discards Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
but then it's like, well, it's okay because I know I still have a Hela in the deck. You know,
Oh, it's gonna come out and do her thing. Yeah.
yeah. What's really annoying is when you you get to turn 6 and you realize that Ghost Rider's the only thing that was discarded. And you're
Yeah.
like, is it worth it for me to use Hela to bring back Ghost Rider if he's not gonna do anything? You know what I mean? He's not gonna. But I'm like, it's 3 on the board, whatever. It's fine.
I always
but
try
yeah,
to plan my decks where it's like I have a 2-prong approach no matter what happens. So
yeah,
you have-
exactly.
if Stiff or somebody takes somebody out, then it's like, all right, well, touche. I've still got this option in my pocket, and I'm going to play that. I always try to plan my decks that way, but sometimes, I mean, even sometimes then you can still kind of get caught slipping, you know, and you're like, oh, I did not see that coming, or I should have seen that coming, or what have you. But
Yeah, there's you know, it always impresses. There's sometimes where I'm really impressed. I'm like, okay, that person was clearly thinking, and I was lazy.
yeah, exactly.
Wow, they really. And I'm always surprised when I win or lose by 1. How often that happens? It's a lot.
More often than not,
it's more since the nerfings.
Yeah.
The nerfings hurt, man. Like you saw the cards that got nerfed, right?
A lot of, yeah.
More often than not, when they when somebody plays something at the end that I like you said, like they were thinking and I wasn't, I always try to get in like a little thumbs up quick, like before the round ends, to just be like, you know what, respect, because that was I see what you did there. Tip of the hat.
Yeah, Clarke, I just sent it directly to you on Slack so that you just have it.
Okay.
But yeah, I call it Alucard. Get it? Get it?
On that note,
Get it right?
Yeah,
because of the word card in it.
Yes.
It's pretty great. All right, well, go have fun with it and go enjoy your night. And feel free to go play Gotham Knights together. I think I'm just gonna go try and beat it really quick. Or maybe I'll play Snap or whatever. Or maybe I'll try and give Midnight Suns another chance. My thing is, like, I want Midnight Suns to be good because I know that XCOM is good.
Yes.
But I remember liking XCOM immediately, though. That's the difference. Yeah.
That's true.
So,
but it doesn't. XCOM did not have the baggage that you have with Marvel. Except for Snap, where it's not a story-based thing.
Like, it's like, Blade, I don't need you to tell me your name. I know who you are. Thanks. I get that you're trying to educate somebody else, but just, I get it. You're a Dampier. I know this. I know your life story. Like, it's fine, Blade.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good for me. You know? That's what I mean. So, but anyway.
I've got Fortnite on my phone. We'll see if I can join in tomorrow at 1. It's at 1 o'clock.
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. tomorrow is the season event.
I'll be at the LA Comic-Con. See how many other people are on their phones trying to do the Fortnite live event.
I feel like your phone's gonna explode.
Nice. Take pictures and share them and stay safe.
Yes.
And okay, I think we can end because I know Ricky wants to go do other stuff too. But thank you guys for hanging out and go enjoy games and have a good weekend.
See you guys.